Right, it's recording.
Yep.
Start the timer now. Okay. So tell me about yourself.
Yes. Hello, everyone. So my name is Chong. So currently I'm the iOS developer, full time for the FPT app USA. Right now I'm involved for the budget service for the project based on the Seattle. For my history, so actually I'm the gamer, so I be inspired by the game, so I become the game developer in 2012, and I start working with Java, C Sharp, and C plus plus, and up until the 2015 I focus on the iOS development for the automation solution with the mobile application, and then I start working with the Objective C at first, and from 2018 I mainly focus on the iOS with the Swift development so far.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So the question we got for today, we're going to be designing a recipe app. So what are we looking for? We're looking for the app when you can browse recipes and you can add one. So for example, you can like see what you have already and then like press a button and just put some text or maybe images and publish it.
I would like to clarify. So you just like a search by the image or the text.
Say again.
So the system is like a Google search for the image and text.
Yes. So like let's say it's just text and images. So we don't need videos. We don't need voice. Just those two.
Okay. Okay. So I would like to share my screen.
Sure.
Okay. Can you see my screen right now?
Yep.
Okay. So I call this system is like image. No, that is the content searching system, right? And I will have the requirement.
So basically, content searching system. That's not a company. This is basically like how we would describe the system, right?
Yes. So I would like to clarify in the requirement to make sure I understand your idea correctly.
Got it.
Okay. So I have the requirement and non-requirement. And app scope. Okay. So first, as a user, I want to search a content by text.
Mm-hmm.
And as a user, I want to search the content by image, right?
How would you search by images? That's interesting.
So actually, I'm curious about the content you are mentioning here. So that is the link for the web or something else?
No, I would say let's say you put something like beef, and then you're gonna see all the recipes with beef, or you put like vegan, and you see all vegan recipes.
Not sure I'm understand what you mean.
Let's make it's a keyword search. So you don't need to search by image or like nothing fancy. So it's a plain text search.
Keyword search. And what is the result will be returned for me?
What do you think would be a good result to return?
I'm sorry.
like what would you recommend to return? So when user types it, what would they want to see?
Yeah, so I think if we are trying to mimic the Google search, so this would be like a hyperlink to the to the targeted um, um, web.
You know what? Probably just we not building the right thing. So imagine you just have an app. It's not like Google search. You open it and you just type like, I don't know, like beef, and then you're just gonna see the list of all recipes, and you click on one and you can see details. So we don't really need to have like search, like web search or any kind of aggregator. It's a very simple app which runs on a mobile phone.
So what kind? So actually, I'm not sure about what kind of the result are in here. So that is the product detail or something.
It's not product, it's recipe. So basically, it's going to be like some text and images, but you would probably just want to show some like an icon and like description, like I don't know.
That is the food recipe, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it will return for me the title and the image of the food recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we can search by the keyword. Keyword could be shown in here, right?
Yep.
Okay. So so for the non-functional for the requirement, I think we can see the food recipe. Now I will clear this one. So as a user, I want to search a recipe, and as a user, I want to view a recipe. Is that possible if the user can upload a recipe by themselves?
Yes,
okay.
We would want users to be able to create and upload recipes as well.
Okay. How about if the user can like view, comment, and like the recipe?
No, that's not necessary.
Okay.
We can put it out of scope.
Yeah. Okay. So is that the user needed to personalize I mean the user can authenticate to the system?
Let's leave it out of scope.
Okay.
So you may assume that somehow user already authenticated in your session.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I think that is quite enough for the requirement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for the not for the requirement, I'm thinking about is this the requirement need to be like the latest the low latency application?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. So is that suppose applied by they can view all of the recipes they searched before?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So is that which country the develop will be going to? Is that a market or just a developed country?
I'm not sure if I understood the question.
So that is the emerging country, just like India. So the maybe network in there is not unstable, and and for the developed country, it's just like in the North America. So the internet connection is very stable.
Oh, okay. So let's assume that you're building worldwide. So you may make no assumptions about the internet connection. or any devices.
Okay, any. So that means for any device should run smooth, right?
Yep. Well, you're probably not going to be able to run smooth on every device, but at least this is what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah. So I think that's quite enough for the system. So
Sure.
do I miss something?
I think it's fine for now. So if we have time, we might add something else, but let's move on.
Okay. Okay. So next thing I would like to explain about the ecosystem of this. So the content setting system is, I think, again, assumption it could be like I can call it that that is in the system. Would be the like authentic, like the authentication system. And
I would say let's not worry about authentication for now.
yes, yes, yeah. Oh, no. Okay. So what I mean is, so this is the first level. I would like to you on aware. So the main system we are focused on this is the recipe system. So I can assume that the recipe system, the user can be can have the multiple container like it can have multiple container like a web solution, or it could be the mobile solution.
You mean like, can you explain this sourcing stuff? I might not be following.
Okay, so that is a web solution, and this is a I will not talking detail about the web solution, but I will focus on the mobile solution. The mobile solution is something I would like to more focus into. Is
Oh, okay. So for example, I think I see where you're going. We don't need to go that high level. We just can concentrate just on the mobile app. Imagine
okay.
that we already have a backend.
Okay, so that means we bring the picture. We will focus only for the mobile solution.
Yes.
This
yes.
is so I have it in here, and I will have the another. So in the mobile solution, I will have the I will build a lot of the component that can be work with each other to make the system work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so at first I will I need to know what is the source. Like the application cannot work offline at the first time they launch, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
means they at least they have the internet connection before, so they can fetch the initial data. In order to do that, I need to have the like a backend in here. Yeah, the backend is also the a container. That is the backend. And the backend in will do handle the request from the mobile solution. From the no, I mean the the mobile app. So it will handle the request to fetch the recipe list or view the recipe detail. So
Mm-hmm.
it will come through the backend, and we have the another thing is the content delivery content delivery network. So it will be contained for the like the rig data like image or video tutorial.
We don't need to do videos. We don't need to do stuff.
Yes. So
just images.
Yep.
So basically, you making this to deliver static content, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So the content delivery will be contain the image only. Yeah. So we will store this. Could be in some backend source. This is handled by our scope of this one. So we don't care about that. So for the mobile solution, I will have some component like I will component. Yeah. So I will have the view, the component, the view recipe list. So at first, when the user open application, let's say the user first time login, so they can see the I can assume that there are a couple of the questions when the user register with the system, like they prefer the Asian food or prefer the Arab food, prefer the spicy one or not. Then it will come to the when it will review the recipe list. In the recipe list in here is contains the suggestion from the system. Yeah. At first, so the user didn't need to search anything, but the system can have the hierarchy to return for at first time to return for the second list of the recipe. And so come to the main function. It is the user can research the recipe they want, search the recipe they want. As for this component, I can using the textual keyword. Yeah, and so I can set this, and this could be support the auto completion to know all of the recipe relevant. Yeah, relevant with the keyword. And we also after the searching return the result, so I will have the ability to to view the detail. Okay. So in order to view the detail, I will have to see the basic metadata like the title, like the author, title, author, and etc. And I can have a way to see the I can have a way to see the image. The image should be the list of the image. It could be the image of all of the ingredient needed. Yeah, image of ingredient.
Yeah. So basically, it's the format is not fixed. So it could be text, an image, it could be just text.
Yeah.
So yeah, just keep it in mind.
So so this is the three main function, and in order to make this work well, so I need to add some another component. I think the most important one of the important component in the mobile solution is we need the component for the dependency injection.
Let me step back a bit. What are we forgetting? We're actually forgetting the editing part.
Okay.
So we can search, we can view, but we also want to create one. So we want to create a recipe.
Yes. I just forgot that one. So I can also upload the recipe or create the recipe, and we can input the title, some basic information, and the image. Input the image. Okay. So in order to application work with the backend. So I will have the component to connect with the container. I can call this that is the API API service. Yeah, and in order to work with the in the API service, it will have some APIs just like get recipe, and this is should support the destination recipe, and it could be it must be have the search recipe, and it's will have
you know what, let's just skip API for now, so you can just put it as a component. It's fine.
Okay, so in order to support the offline, so I need to have the persistent. Yeah, the persistent will be saving the metadata. Yeah, and we're gonna have the like I would like to separate this one with the content with the content with like the files like the downloaded persistent. Like I will store the files, the image file for the recipe. Okay, so
just let us step back a bit. So you're gonna have two persistence components, right? One for metadata and one for storing like files. And why would you want to do this? Why can't you put them in a single one?
Because of this is I store in the like some DB solution. I think it could be the relation database, and it's just like a physical file. So we will so in the persistent with it will be contain a entity to like I can give an example like downloaded file will have the column link to link in with the file in the physical file. So that means I have the two different persistent in here. So I will have some like class like a file manager in for the downloaded persistent, and I will have the DB manager for the persistent metadata.
Okay, so we know how to store metadata. How will we store recipes themselves? So recipe is metadata, text, and bunch of files, right?
Yes.
And so how would we store recipe itself? Like not the metadata, not images, but the recipe itself.
Not sure if I understand your mean, but I can explain a schema for that one a little bit. So I can have the recipe in here. So I will have the first I will have the UDID to uniquely identify UDID. So this is the string. So I can have the title and a string, and I can have the author is also string. This is basic information, and the most and the field I would like to address here it is the image list of the image. This should be the image in here, and so I will have the image schema in here. So I also have the UDID, and I have the file. It's also the string to point into the physical file, and for the image I can have the like a timestamp. To maybe I will have in the future. Maybe that I get the timestamp here. It could be some way in the future enhancement to sort it, or it could be we can clear it if it expires. Yeah. So this is maybe that is the two basic entity I would like to address. Is that what you want?
It looks good, but I'm still not sure how would you store the recipe.
So in order to store the recipes, you are asking about I will use the relational database or non-relational database.
Like, okay, so do you know any vendors for non-relational database in mobile?
Yes, I know the I for for the recipe of the no for the no SQL. I know the Cassandra Cassandra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine you have Cassandra on mobile, right?
Okay.
How would you actually store the recipe? So it's actually two-part question. How would you receive a recipe, and how would you store it?
Okay, so actually, I would like the Cassandra is the first thing I come to my head. I read it a little bit about that, but actually, I in practice with the uh, the MongoDB. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so let's move away from vendors
Okay.
and just discuss how would you store, how would you receive and store data. Let's start with the easy one. How would you receive the recipe over the network?
Okay, so in order to store the recipe, so I will I think I will store it as the JSON. So I will have the JSON like I can have the recipe in here, and I have the ID.
So you use a JSON, right?
Yeah, I will use the JSON, and the ID I can example like one title is this, something like that, and the author is mine, and list of images.
You might probably just drop this metadata info. I'm just curious, how would you store the recipe itself?
So yeah, so for the recipe itself, I will have this is the the collection. The collection, it should be have the recipe list in here.
Mm-hmm.
Recipe list, and it will contain a list of the recipe. Yeah, and so in order to support the autocomplete feature, so I need to have the make the indexing for the title.
Mm-hmm.
So we can easy to apply the autocomplete
Okay, I got this part. Yeah. So imagine you have a very simple recipe. Sorry for interrupting.
Okay.
It says like take 2 eggs, like cup of flour, and they're going to be image. So you have some text and image, and it has title, author, etc. So how would you receive this from the network?
Okay, so I need to have the API to get the recipe. So you are asking about the get the recipe detail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in order to get a recipe detail, so I will have the need to know what is the ID of the recipe. Recipe ID. So
you may drop out. You may omit parameters. I see where you're going with this.
Yep.
So let me maybe backtrack a bit. So which format would you use to store a recipe?
So which format?
Like which format? So let's start with it was easy question. So how can you possibly store a text and images? Like what options do you have?
In order to store the text, I will use the database, and if install the image, I use
Okay,
the file.
let's put it this way.
Yep.
Like you can use HTML, right? You can
External.
use Markdown. You can use something else. Like you may totally use your custom binary format. Like what format would you use and why?
So you say the binary format?
No, I said I'm just throwing things on the table. So you probably need to store the recipe somehow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you transfer it, it should be in some kind of format. When you read it, it should be maybe another format, maybe it's the same. So what I'm trying to understand, like what format would you use, for example? Some hints. Would you use HTML? Would you use Markdown? Would you use anything else? Like, for example, you maybe want to use your own binary format custom. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm looking for this kind of information.
Okay. So in order to transfer the whole recipe maybe to the another device, or I can upload it to the server, or I can download it from the server. So I could use the zip file. I can define the like so like the recipes like a fish recipe dot zip file. So I can have the metadata dot XML to mapping the the specific. It could be in order to optimize the network. I think I keep a recipe, multiple recipe at the same time. I can have the metadata to mapping the weak textual info to the image. Yeah, I can have the image folder. I can have the like the fish dot png. I can have the orange png in here. Yeah,
I got it. So basically, what you're gonna send to the back from the backend receiver client is gonna be a zip file, and it would just contain like all the files needed to run the recipe, right? So basically, like, all at once. It's like same as saving web page from the browser to this. And what can go wrong with this?
So that is the case that the transformation could be interrupt, right? Is that what you mean? Yeah.
What if the recipe is really huge?
Okay.
So it's like 10 pages, and like sometimes the author would like talk about life and stuff, and then going to be a bunch of pictures, and it could be like really huge, and you would open and it would just keep spinning, like downloading, and it's like and you go back. So can you somehow speed it up?
Okay, so so I think there are the multiple scenario, like we can do we can do the issue could be the based on the download, or it could be based on the upload. So in order to make sure the download, so I will say the scenario for the download first. So in order to make sure that your big file is download without download completely the integrity of the data, so I will use I think instead of using the HTTP request, I will use the HTTP range. So that means I can easy to so the server can continue to send any data they got from me in chunks, right? So it can be the HTTP request is something like it can be easy to so the DAO point is easy to no, it's difficult to restore the failed download.
Okay. You know what? Like I see where you're going with this. Let us maybe like we don't have much time left, so maybe let us switch gears. And so you mentioned auto-completion.
Yep.
So how would you build an auto-completion?
Yes, for the auto-completion, so there are two parts of the auto-completion. That is from the server and from the client. So in the server, yeah, I will not talk much about that, but we can use the Elasticsearch. We can build up the Elasticsearch in the system, so it can be very quick to return the data for me. And for the let's say I'm in the client, so I can have the in the client auto in the client, so I can have the auto complete while I'm online, and I can have the auto complete when I apply. So the auto complete when I in the online, so I need to the server side should be the support the Elasticsearch. So from the server side, I can use this normal REST API to request request the recipe by the syntax, no, by the keyword, and I need to define the debounds between the API. That means when you type very fast, so there's no request will be sent, but you are like the debound could be the 2 seconds, like no, not 2 seconds is too much, so it could be 1 second, and after 1 second they will try to make a request to the server, and the server will return for me the list of the auto completion. And the list of the auto completion is not this a whole file. It's just like it contains the search metadata only. It could be contain a very lightweight data like the title and the author only. Yeah, the data will be minimized to enhance the speed. And so that is for the autocomplete in the online, and for the autocomplete in the offline. So whenever we lost the connection, so we can search. We can also use the autocomplete in the offline. So in order to do that, so we must apply the indexing in the database. So we can so by the apply the indexing, so I can fetch the data quicker than normal request. And it will have the syncing issue like when you in the offline, so it's normal. So you can apply the autocomplete normally, but with the recipe you downloaded before. But for when you come back online, so you need to sync with the server. So that could be have some recipe has been expired. So I need to delete it from the offline data. So make sure that in the next time I go offline, so the recipe which is expired not gonna show up anymore.
Okay, I have a quick question. Can you actually tell me more about this synchronization part? So imagine a situation, you have an internet connection and you just type Apple.
Yep.
Right? So what happens? Once the user typed Apple and 1 second passed, what happens next?
So in the poor connection, right?
You have a good connection.
Yeah, if I have the good connection, so when the user type the app, the like minimum, I can like a 3 character after the user type 3 characters, so it will send a API request and return for me the data for the title and author, and the user will will be the user not going to be blocked anytime because it will be set.
Okay. So yeah, what happens to the data? So you receive the data and you need to show it. Would you cache the data? Or,
yeah.
Like I'm interested about this part.
Yes. In order to store the data of the keyword, so I will store it in the memory, because memory is easy to manage and also really fast to access. Yeah.
So imagine, okay, then the user closes up, right?
Yeah.
Lost internet connection, opens up again, and now they type Apple again. So what happens?
Okay, in that case, if I don't have the like the cache data, so the user will have the feedback that is the internet connection. No, this is the feedback is just like the specific no, the recipe with the given keyword is not available in the offline data. Yeah.
Basically, I'm trying to understand. Would you first send a network request, or would you first check your offline data?
Yes. So I think I will have the like prefetch because of the data for the title and outer will be have the will have the very lightweight, so I can have the prefetch. But prefetch I will but the data also can be huge, so I can apply the rule 80 and 20. So that means I will try to prefetch the 80% of the recipe which is the most relevant to the offline data. So that means even the user lost the connection, so they can also they can also to have the way to see the data they want, because it's highly chance to have the recipe, the common recipe in the 80% of the most relevant.
So imagine you have a huge number of recipes.
Yep.
You have 10 million recipes with apples.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure if it could be the case, but
okay.
So how do you know the amount of recipes to prefetch?
Yeah. So the amount the prefetching, we also have the way to sort it. We can sort it by the the sorted list will be decided by the server. So the server will have the a way to determine which recipe has it's like the server will be just that is if the recipe if the recipe is fully detailed, like the detail based on the detail level. So if that is very very detailed, so it will be likely to become first. And for each recipe, we can limit like for the apple. For the apple, we can limit about maybe a couple, like 5 recipe only. And for each category.
Okay. Yeah. I see. So basically, you would limit each recipe category.
Yep.
To some number. And a question: how do you know the number? Why would you select 5 and not 50, for example?
Yes. I think this number is configurable by the server. The server, they have the like analytic to analyze the number of the detail like a user behavior to know this is the number.
So basically, it's going to be like a recommender system.
Yeah, recommender system. Yeah.
Okay, so imagine situations that recipes keep coming, so people like just keep submitting them, and now you get like more and more recipes. So you keep prefetching. How would you maintain the size of the cache?
Okay, in order to maintain the size of the cache, so I will have to apply the as I just show you before. So I will have the I will come back to it. Yeah, for the image. So actually, I'm not store. I think I'm not storing the timestamp in the recipe anymore. But actually, I will introduce the last open. Last open. It could be the timestamp. So I will apply the no, not string but date. So I will apply the rule of the list. Like list recently update. So So I will like to have the pools, the maximum size will be the could be based on the size on this. This could be the 2 gigabyte for example. So if it's reached to the 2 gigabytes, so it will be try to clean the list recent up list recent open recipe out
Okay,
of the cache. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to stop here because we run out of time.
Yep.
We can jump straight to the feedback.
Yep.
So we started with an introduction, which took 2 minutes, which is a great time for introduction. This is exactly how much time you want to spend because it doesn't really influence the interview outcome, but mostly like an icebreaker. So you can relax and just introduce yourself. I would not tell about irrelevant experience from the past. Let me just share the document, which I got with the rest of you. So it's going to be easier to follow.
Do I need to stop sharing?
No, like keep your screen on, and I put a link in the chat so people can open and see what I'm talking about.
Yep.
You keep this on because it would be easier to just to talk. So, can anyone open the link?
I will open that one.
No access. Bizarre. Share. Link. Copy link. How about this one? Oh, cool. Can you go back to the drawing board? Okay, so like I would not bring any irrelevant experiences from the past, like as you've been a gamer and all your journey about learning C++ and C# because this is not what the interview for.
Yep.
And what I would put emphasis on is that you've been like you started with Objective-C and now you using Swift and you've been doing this through 2018. And like some of the experiences, like, okay, I was in a team, the team size and my role. But as I said, it's not mandatory. It's more like an icebreaker because they already have your resume in front of them so they can look it up. So then we jump to requirements, which took 8 minutes. And well, it might be a bit more than you want to spend. You might want to spend more like 5.
Okay.
And you quickly jump with like starting content search system. So if you scroll a bit up, you can see. What was it? So anyway, you started with like content search system, and I started with a company. Yeah, well, sounds like that was like totally confusing and out of blue. And then I realized that that's just a title, and you just want to describe the system at hand. Don't try to overcomplicate, like with videos, rating system, etc. Don't go too much in details. So when you put like, oh, I'm going to be using this API service, and it just also thinks API service going to do, like, don't go back and forth. So like you would type something that you would erase it, type again, erase it. Don't do this. You're just wasting your time. You're not providing any useful signal. I would probably also limit typing. So like as a user, I want to, let's take time to type.
Okay.
And like lots of very important requirements were never asked. So like you asked about the target audience, this is a good sign, right? But you never ask about what's the format of the recipes, what's the size of the recipe, how many recipes we're expecting, how many users we're expecting. So there's so many things you can ask on top of this, and we didn't do any of those, which is generally not a good sign. So then we jump to high-level diagram, and it seemed like you trying to adopt a C4 model. So this is where you got this container system and stuff like that on a very, very high level. And I would not do this necessarily unless they ask you explicitly. So what I would start with, I would try to figure out the scope. We say, okay, what do we design? I would design a backend API, client, or all of it. Most likely, in 90% of cases, based on my experience, I said, okay, we're only doing the client, and we might discuss the API as well, right? And the diagram was not very consistent. Like you jump between like different level details. It was kind of hard to follow, and the relationship between components was not clear. And basically, the concept of container and component, it's like coming out of blue. So if you use them, like it would be nice at least just to mention, like, oh, for example, I use C4 model, which many interviews would not be familiar with. So we can quickly explain what makes container, component, etc. If you try to use this notation.
Yeah.
I would say don't try to get more requirements as necessary. It's like, oh, we're going to use videos, we're going to use recommenders and stuff like that. Don't do this. Like you just dig in your own grave this way because an interviewer said, oh, I really want to know about recommender. And now you better have this experience. And don't put too much detail. So see, if you look at your high level diagram, so we have API services, it has like get recipes, search recipes, and then text search and search recipe, like textual keyword, etc. Like you just need to show what components you have and how they interact with one another. Like don't need to put this information because we can always pick a single component and just go and dig deeper.
Yep.
Then we went to storage. And what I was looking for, I was really curious how you would store the recipe itself, because metadata detail is not very exciting. And you started talking about backend DB vendors, but you started mentioning backend technologies like Cassandra, MongoDB, and NoSQL databases in general, which are not like really popular on the mobile. For mobile, pretty much everything you do, it's SQLite.
Yep.
Like there are some other technologies which basically like provide object relationship mapping, but you don't have resources to do all those things that you described. Also, like what I can see a lot from this, you keep dodging questions. So you have a very straight question and you try to go on the site. Then I would repeat the question. Once again, you would go on a site. And at some point, I just give it up and try to switch to another topic because we would still need to get some useful signal out of it, at least just see what your strong sites are. Like then we switched to auto completion and we got Elasticsearch, which is totally relevant for this one. And basically we just keep talking about random things. Like what I was hoping to hear is just like, yes, you mentioned debouncing, how would you handle your requests, how you would do caching, etc. Then we moved to like prefetching. And prefetching is very tricky, especially when you said, I'm going to fetch like 80% of recipes, or 20% of recipes. This is a tricky business because imagine you have 1 billion clients, and now every time the app starts, they will go and prefetch all those things. Like you pretty much going to DOS attack your own servers. And like numbers which you used are kind of coming out of blue, like, oh, we're going to use like 5 recipes. And why 5 recipes? Why not 500? Oh, we have analytics on the backend, which is I would say, a poor strategy. And like when you select something like LRU, you don't really need to explain how LRU works. Like you may assume that your interviewer knows about caching, especially if they ask about it. So what I was looking for is just you would probably put a couple of options on the table, and then maybe pick one and tell exactly why you think it's the best one, and offer some strategies how to conserve disk space, how to conserve bandwidth in memory. So, like, would you use cache control?
Yep.
Would you do this, this, and this? So there's like so many topics we can talk about, but don't just go around how things work or just explaining like very simple terms in like great detail, because you may assume that your interviewer might know all those things. And the biggest area of improvement, I would say, is your time management. Like we didn't have much progress because we spent too much time on like high level stuff and like discussions. And I would say this is probably the biggest takeout. There's lots of things which might be improved, but it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes now. You're still learning. There's going to be no job. Like I'm not going to offer you a job.
Yeah.
But I would say elephant in the room, time management. Once you get time management right, then you can try to go and actually maybe fix your like technical issues, just to make sure that you know which database vendors work on client, and some very basic stuff like caching, storage, format, and like those are must. It's very hard to build anything without knowing them, and make sure that you're not confusing backend and client, because that's generally not a good sign. That shows that you might heard of it or read about it, but you have no idea what you're talking about. And if you don't have enough experience with any of the technology, you just said, you know what, I don't have enough experience. I can speculate, but don't try to like, oh, we're going to use this one, because that can totally backfire.
Okay.
And yeah, I guess this is like the high level experience I get. And I would invite anyone from the audience to provide their input as well. You can just raise hand or just unmute yourself and talk. No takers?
Maybe
Okay, Vitaly, go for it.
Maybe one suggestion related to time management is to set like download some timer app and put it during next mock interview in front of you. So you will keep track of time and put some kind of milestone. Okay, 2 minutes introduction, then 10 minutes together requirements, and just it will be in front of your eyes just to keep track on it. It will be easy, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that is a good idea. Yeah. Thank you.
In terms of time management, the best thing to do is just to have a very good plan, like very good interview plan. So you know, like how much, like all the stages, and like this is something which I offer in my framework. Well, maybe framework it's a big word, but this is like 5 minutes. You introduce yourself. 5 minutes for requirements, 10 minutes high level, 20 to 30 minutes detailed discussions, and 5 minutes just to ask questions. And this is like a good heuristic. You may use like your interviewer might not necessarily follow this, but if you do not know anything better, that might work. Also, try to be as short and concise as possible.
Okay.
Like the question, won't the timer be distracting? Well, if it's going to be beeping, that's it. But like instead of timer, you just like put a stopwatch or just look at the clock and see, okay, just to make sure that if you see if you spend it like twice as much time for a high level stuff, maybe you should just like cut to the chase. And like the point is, don't talk too much, because everything you say should provide a signal. Like if you're talking too much, usually there's no signal. You're just wasting your time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, quick question maybe to Alex.
Yep.
Are you hearing me?
Yep.
Yeah. Usually when interviewer asks questions, you may not have the answer right away, so you need to maybe think a little bit. So my question is, how many seconds or how long is like good time? It's not too long. I mean, like 10, 15 seconds.
I would say, like, if you don't know what to say, you would probably say, okay, let me think about it for a second. But it's not like you just go there for 5 minutes and said, okay, this is solution. It's better to think aloud. So for example, I said, how would you store the recipe? And I said, well, let's see, what options do I have? We can use HTML. We can use Markdown. We can use like plain text. I don't know, like in any way. Or we can just serialize it in a custom format, which is going to be like very, very optimized for like reading and rendering. So you think a lot, because if you just shut up and be quiet, the interview have no idea. Maybe like you're just panicking or whatever. So it's better to maybe engage in a discussion. So it's totally fine to say, you know what, I don't know right now. Like, let me think about it. I need to think about it. And you just like talk aloud and see if it makes sense. Because like if you haven't been working with like rich content rendering, it's pretty likely you're gonna like figure out something really quick. But this is not the point of the interviews. The point of the interviews is just to see how you think, how well you can think, and how well you can express your thoughts. Like other part, it's also like there's a behavioral part of it. the person who interviews you see how well would you fit the company and its values. So if you come arrogant, like, oh, like I know this, this, and this, and you like keep interrupting, no matter how brilliant you are, you're not going to get a job. But if there's things that you might not know everything, you might not deliver a perfect solution, but you can talk, you can think, and it's really nice to work with you. So they're probably going to leave nice feedback. Like remember, like as you may see, like everything you said, I just like start typing right away. Like everything you do provides signal.
Thanks.
A disclaimer, I would not position myself as a professional interviewer, and I'm not representing any company here. So everything I say is just my own opinion.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I would like to ask about my performance. So do I ask too much question in the session?
You didn't ask too many questions, but you've been
really?
talking too much. You've been talking too much about irrelevant stuff.
Okay, is the good approach is when you ask the question, when we ask something, I try to answer that question and ask you for the next thing I'm gonna do next, right?
That's not a good thing to do. So you, instead of just like, hey, would this work? Or should I do this? Should I do this next? You would say, I'm going to draw a high level diagram.
Okay.
Does this work? Or I'm going to offer this in requirements. Is that fine?
Okay.
Are we good? Like, could we, like, you actually ask, like, is it enough? I said, like, yeah. At least it's a good conversation starter. We can always add more. So if you just clear everything very quick, so okay, let's step back and talk about authentication. And yeah, but never ask the interviewer what to do, or just don't like pile options. That, oh, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. You have to select one, and you should be very clear about why you make certain decision.
Okay.
Like the way I feel it, you might be like borderline between level 4 and 5. So the higher your level is, the more engaged you should be. So like if you like on a high level, you should like drive the conversation 100%. Like you are decision maker, and like your interviewer is basically more like supportive role. And like a good example on my interviews, I said like, okay, I'm going to do this. Does it make sense? And he replied, I don't know. You tell me. And then you just like, you assume driver's seat and goes there. So even if you're not going for high positions, just try to be in a driver's seat more, because that shows that you are capable of thinking, making decisions, making suggestions. So not like, oh, you're just waiting until somebody's going to tell you what to do.
Okay, I got it.
Like how did you feel yourself? So how would you evaluate yourself? What do you think went well? Where you think you might want to like work on?
You are asking about my performance. I feel
no, like how would you evaluate yourself?
I'm not clear about the question.
Okay, so what went good? So what was good in the interview from your point of view? What you did good?
Yes. What I did good is so I think I do it in the order. So that's means I follow a structure from the requirement clarify, and after that I go to the high level, and I will list out all of the components I can think of. So I wait for the I can ask the question which no, actually today I'm not asking the question which component you want to know more, but actually you are asking for that already.
Yep.
I think that is a good thing. The only thing I can think of.
What do you think could be better? Like what could be improved?
I think I will improve what is I need to more focus on the question to answer the question and try to know how to stop and wait for the another another follow-up from the interviewer.
Yeah, there you go. That's your feedback. As I said, I think you did good because it's easy to be on the spectator side of things, but it's very hard to actually get there and do this. So if anyone wants to try, I'm going to be happy. Yeah. So any suggestions from the audience, like what to improve, maybe for both myself and for Chen? Okay, then I assume the rest is perfect. Yep. So thank you so much, and we'll probably see you next time.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, everyone.
All right, guys. Take care.